Over at the Donetsk front, a strategic situation looked like this. Russian forces attacking Makariivka, Staromaiorske, Urozhaine. There are Ukrainians counter-attack at Volodymyrivka. Russians attacking Prechystivka. Russians are also attacking in the area of Novomykhailivka towards Constantinivka, Prechystivka, and they're attacking Georgievka, and the Battle of Krasnohorivka continues. So this is the strategic situation over in the Donetsk front. And over at this Velika Novosilka sector, Russian forces have made some advance. Particularly the Staromaiorske one is somewhat geolocated. We have a geolocation around here showing that the Russians indeed have made progress. And tentatively, I will go to see this as actual capture based on the Russian claims, and because it is backed by a geolocation. On the Urozhaine side, the Russians are also claiming that they are attacking in this area here, capturing some grounds. Tentatively, this will just be a claim. I think the Staromaiorske side, I will see it as a capture. So Russian forces are geolocated in two different locations, whereas the Ukrainians are getting shelled. I think it's an airstrike, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's an airstrike by the Russian side in the middle of Urozhaine, actually middle south. So Russians are conducting close air support for the ground forces as they attack. They're getting really good at this. The fire support, even with thermobaric missiles, is all getting closer and closer to the front lines. So the Russians are getting more and more well trained. But according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, a bit of a sidetrack, that they are claiming that they have killed a lot of Russian forces. Like on a daily basis, they are claiming like hundreds and hundreds, and a lot of vehicles have been destroyed. It is possible that it is true, but we'll continue to monitor and see whether this corroborates or this leads to some kind of a frontline change where the Russians actually lose steam and start to lose grounds in a big way. So if not, then it wouldn't matter. Like I always say, Zerg rush is always a valid strategy. Russian Defense Ministry shelled Neskushny and Velika Novosilka, as well as the Russians attacking Makariivka. So this is the current situation over at the Velika Novosilka sector. We move on. Over at the Prechystivka region, there is a geolocation of a helicopter strike, guided missile strike on Prechystivka, whereas the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, Russian Defense Ministry reported that they have attacked Prechystivka. I'm not sure if this is actually referring to this report. It could be the same thing. So we will just continue to monitor and see how this goes. Ukrainian forces is geolocated south of Vuhledar in between Palivka and Mikhailivka. This marks one of the rare instances where the Ukrainians actually captured ground, with the Ukrainian forces actually taken some ground between these two locations. I'm not sure what the Ukrainians are going to do next. Are they going to capture the rest of this dacha, or are they going to head into Palivka? So we will continue to monitor and see how this develops over at this Vuhledar sector. Ukrainians are attacking Volodymyrivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. This is the last time they mentioned this was on the 20th, and before that on the 18th. So the Ukrainians are starting to develop something over in this direction, heading towards Volodymyrivka. We will just wait and see if this is going to become something serious. But this is actually very far from where all their logistic base, so it is going to be a bit hard to actually attack in this area here. Over at the Novomykhailivka Constantinivka sector, Russian forces are attacking Prechystivka and in the area of Novomykhailivka towards Constantinivka. So the current situation is like this. They are attacking, but we have no other information regarding this. Moving up over the Marinka sector, Russian forces are attacking in the area of Georgievka, but they still have not captured. The Russian claims that they have captured most of Georgievka cannot be corroborated, so there's a high chance that this did not happen. There's no geolocation to confirm this. In fact, the Ukrainian mapping still marks most of Georgievka is under Ukrainian control. So this parallel universe is very, very bad, very, very serious. So we will continue to monitor. There's a good chance as the experience goes, the Ukrainian mapping is actually more accurate. Over at Krasnohorivka, Russian forces are geolocated in two different locations. Both are within where we have already marked the border. However, Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, reported that the Russians have captured almost all of the industrial area in the western part of Krasnohorivka. So the fighting continues in this area here. I'm not sure where the current push is, other than this one that the Russians have made some success. Traditionally speaking, the Russians are attacking from the east and also, of course, through the center. And the Ukrainians so far have been holding back the Russians pretty decently well, but then they start to lose this ground, which means that the Russians from now on, they can actually have some flexibility. They can now attack towards the rear position and totally ignore Krasnohorivka, as they can now break through and blitz all the way to the rear, or they can actually swing around and attack the rear position. But generally, I feel that attacking further into the rear is a good solution. But anyway, I'm not a commander, so it's okay. Moving on over at the Avdiivka front.